Hi everyone, my name is Hannah White. This is my Module 1, Part 2. A little bit about me. I think the most exciting thing about me right now is that I eloped in February. It was very special, and we had the big wedding planned for in June, this coming June, and I just wasn't enjoying the wedding planning process, so we decided to elope. It was a very fun secret to have. Everyone knows now, and we're still having like the big celebration in June, so everyone still gets to celebrate with us. But it's been very exciting. Some hobbies: love to cook, love to bake. I enjoy watching the Phillies with my husband. My favorite thing to do is go to the beach. Love to just sit on the beach and read. I can do it all day. Which leads me to my next one, which is reading. About me and my professional life: I am currently an itinerant autistic support teacher for the IU 13. I've been with the IU since I graduated from Millersville, my undergrad, in December 2014. I was lucky enough to student teach with them, and I kind of walked right into a position. It was perfect. Um, I did classroom autistic support for a half a school year, and then I switched to itinerant autistic support, which I absolutely love. I teach emotional regulation and different social skills, for example, conversation skills, perspective taking, and also different social thinking. Most of my sessions are done one-on-one. I do push into the classroom. And a big part of my job, which I didn't put on here, was my consultation. I work with special ed administrators, building administrators, teachers. We kind of love that problem solving. I am working on my master's in assessment, curriculum, and teaching with a concentration in online instruction. I absolutely love technology, and I try to incorporate it as much as I can into my sessions, so it just seemed fitting and something a little fun that would interest me and keep me going. So, a little overview of the 7 strategies of assessment for learning. Strategy 1: provide a clear and understanding vision of the learning target. So, sum it up, like, why are we doing this? And it needs to be in student friendly language so they understand. Strategy 2: use examples and models of strong and weak work. So, examples, they need to be related to the problem the students have or are having, or problems that you commonly see pop up. I think it's super important. The chapter talked about having students analyze those. And I think it's also important that we guide them in that analyzing and even model creating a product. I think that one really stuck out to me. As I think back through my education, I loved when teachers did an example. I loved when I could see what was expected of me. Strategy 3: offer regular descriptive feedback during the learning. Feedback identifies the strengths and the weaknesses based off of what the learning target is. So kind of, where am I now? And I loved this. How do I close that gap? How do I get there? I also love the peer feedback, how the chapter talked about how like peer feedback is important. I think to my kiddos, and they care what their peers think. Probably more than what I think. They care more about that than hearing what I think. Strategy 4: teach students to self-assess and set goals for the next steps. So kind of builds on everything else, all the other strategies. They all kind of blend together. So students need to understand why they're doing it. They need to be able to identify their strengths and their weaknesses, and they need to be able to figure out where they need to continue to work. Where's that kind of weakness? Where do I need to build it up? Strategy 5: use evidence of student learning needs to determine next steps in teaching. So use what students have done. You got to look back, figure out where those needs are. Strategy 6: design focused instruction followed by practice with feedback. So kind of focus on that need and let the students practice. I think that was like super important to me. They need that time. We can't expect them to immediately change their ways. The last strategy: provide opportunities for students to track, reflect on, and share their learning process. So the students need to be able to notice their own strengths. It kind of deepens their understanding. They can see how things are going. And I know my students, I enjoy watching them realize their progress and seeing how proud they get of themselves. So some strategies that I really thought stuck out to me and I see in my own teaching. So strategy 2: using the examples. All my students have IEP goals. I'm focusing on that need. That's what my goal is all about, that need. So my instruction is modeling different behaviors, watching different behaviors with them, analyzing different examples. Strategy 3, offer regular descriptive feedback during the learning. So I can I take what I'm seeing in my observations and from my consultation, bring that into my session, and we kind of work on, all right, closing this gap. This is what I'm seeing. This is where we need to go. This is what we need to work on. Peer feedback, I do run a few very small groups, and in those groups, the students have classes together. So they're able to kind of tell each other what they're seeing, and I think it seems to be really working this year. Last one, design focused instruction followed by practice. So like I said, my instruction's based on those IEP goals, which are based off student specific needs, and that's what we work on. So that is what I found, my kind of chapter 1 overview. So thanks for listening.